Morning. Good morning, everybody. Try to get that in the right position. GB News has nothing on me, guys. Absolutely nothing. Anyway, how is everybody this morning? What we're going to do this morning is we're going to play a little psalm that I put to music a few weeks ago, and it's got the words on the screen. So we're going to start the breakfast shows. We're going to do every morning with a little bit of Bible, just to spiritually get the muscles going. I should probably get Mr. Motivator on about halfway through, shouldn't I? And do some of those dance aerobics with Mr. Motivator and what was the other one called? The Green Goddess. My goodness, they've probably all got artificial hips now. But anyway, so here goes. Let's play a psalm and let me know what you think of it. I like it. All the words are on the screen, so you can see exactly what's been sung, and it's straight from the Bible. So there's no interpretation on this. This is just straight from the King James version of the Bible. So let's start the show with a little bit of praise and worship.
Truly my soul waiteth upon God. From him cometh my salvation. He only is my rock and my salvation. He is my defense. I shall not be greatly moved. How long will ye imagine mischief against a man? Ye shall be slain, all of you. As a bowing wall shall ye be, and as a tottering fence. They only consult to cast him down from his excellency. They delight in lies, they bless with their mouth, but they curse inwardly, Selah. My soul, wait thou only upon God, for my expectation is from him. He only is my rock and my salvation. He is my defense. I shall not be moved. In God is my salvation and my glory, the rock of my strength and my refuge is in God. Trust in him at all times. Ye people, pour out your heart before him. God is a refuge for us, Selah. Surely men of low degree are vanity, and men of high degree are a lie. To be laid in the balance, they are altogether lighter than vanity. Trust not in oppression, and become not vain in robbery. If riches increase, set not your heart upon them. God hath spoken once, twice have I heard this, that power belongeth unto God. also unto thee, O Lord, belongeth mercy, for thou renderest to every man according to his work.
So I'm not laughing. I'm not laughing at that. Was a beautiful song. That really is a beautiful song, and that's the wonder of AI. Be careful, Richard. You could be in the running to become the new Andy Peters. Anybody else but Andy Peters. But anyway, he gets to give away one of those motorhomes, or used to. I don't know if he's still on GMTV or GMB or whatever they call it now. I haven't watched that. I haven't watched that since the vile, slobbering, pierced moron left the channel in a huff and then got sacked and never went back. But yes, Andy Peters. Yeah, he's the guy that does all the competitions. Anyway, please don't ever compare me with Andy Peters again. Never, never, never. Right. On to serious matters. We're gonna have a look at the Tommy trial. So I'm just gonna play a little bit of the video of Tommy being interviewed outside the court, because it gives the context of what's happening today. Now, again, we had hundreds of people on here on Sunday night praying for Tommy for his court case, and I would ask you all to do that again. This is, even if you're not a fan of Tommy, right? There will be people that will get seeing this video that won't like Tommy. Okay, we get that. There's probably not a reason for you not liking him, because you probably don't know him. You don't really know that much about him. But everybody has their own preferences. But here's the thing: whether you like him or not, this is a complete and utter misuse and waste of police time, waste of money, waste of court time, waste of Tommy's time, waste of everybody's time. Because anybody who has half a brain knows that Tommy is not a terrorist. But he's been charged under the Terrorism Act because he wouldn't give his passcode for his phone, because, and I can verify this, he is in contact with survivors of the so-called grooming gangs from Telford and other places. Okay. And these are ongoing documentary investigations that have been made. Why would he give his details up to people when he knows he's not a terrorist? He did the right thing. He absolutely did the right thing. Now, let's just hear what he's got to say in this little video. We'll play a couple of minutes of it. But if you are a praying person, pray for Tommy, because this is about the whole justice system in the UK. This is about two-tier justice. Not just two-tier justice. It's about in my opinion, a complete abusive process. That's my opinion. But let's have a look at what Tommy's got to say about
it. Okay, so we won't use that. So
we might.
Let's get those followers up. This is Lauren for Urban Scoop, day 2 of the performative trial with Tommy. Tommy, what's going on?
What's going on is we're going to get the verdict. We put written submissions in last night, which means now the judge should have had time to read our arguments to why this case is unlawful. They should just read out either side, either closing statements. RKC, he was great, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He was really good, man. He was really, really good yesterday. So RKC and then their side will put across the arguments on why this is unlawful. And I hope I walk in there. I got a bit worried. They've gone now, because there were 6 meat wagons full of police officers here, weren't there? And I turned up thinking, do they know something? Am I going to be sent to jail today? because the verdict, if I get a guilty, I can be sent to jail today. But after watching how it played out yesterday, how ridiculous and how blatantly, how targeted this was. This has nothing to do with terrorism. As I said, like, they shouldn't be able to arrest people, detain people under terrorism legislation unless they believe you're a terrorist, unless they have some sort of evidence you're a terrorist. But all the evidence spoke to the fact I wasn't a terrorist.
Yeah.
And the maddest thing from yesterday that come out from me is, we have asked time and time again. When I got there, I was held for 40 minutes before they spoke to me, told to pull over for 40 minutes. Then there was another hour and a half period. Now, in that period, we've been going back to them, our lawyers have, time and time again, asking for disclosure. What were you doing? Cheers, mate. Thank you. What were you doing during that time? Yeah? Because they have to give you disclosure. And then all three of them in the evidence yesterday started talking about what they were doing during that time, which was doing further checks with partner agencies about me. And so we need to see what the checks come back with. Now, we know from the evidence yesterday, they come back with nothing. So that would back up, if we had that in black and white, the fact that there was no reason to detain me under terrorism legislation, because they checked with all their partner agencies, checked with intelligence, checked with MI5, checked with everyone if there's anything on me, and they all come back as negative.
So that's the key to all this. That's the key to all this. That there is no trace on Tommy. Now, I'm not going to go into detail, but I've been harassed by the police in Northern Ireland and in England, particularly on the 13th, 12th September, Friday the 12th of September, landed in Stansted Airport, and 6 police officers were there, and again, with ill intent. They identified themselves as counterterrorism. They weren't counterterrorism. And they couldn't hold me because they knew that I was not a suspect in any way whatsoever. But of course, when somebody says, we're from counterterrorism, can we talk to you? That certainly has an impact on your psyche. Let's just say nothing more than that. And it rattles you. And my response was, I've nothing to say to you guys. Are you going to hold me? No. Are you arresting me? No. Well, I'm on my way. And that was it. Obviously, if they'd have had anything or any reason to hold me, they would have held me. But now it makes you very nervous about traveling, makes you very nervous about moving about the country. Other things have happened again. And the reality is it's harassment. The police are harassing patriots. And do you know what I'm going to do? I was going to do something in a slightly different order, but I'm going to go straight onto the story that's about Prevent. Now, the Prevent figures are coming out on the 6th of November. And what they will show is that the biggest proportion of people that have been held on Prevent are not ideologically aligned. So why are they even been, when I say held, been talked to by Prevent, are not ideologically aligned? I think 52%. Then it's going to show, this is a leaked document, then it's going to show that the second biggest proportion of people being held by Prevent are far-right extremists. And then it's Islamists. So this is a complete and utter inversion of what Prevent was developed for. And I'm going to go into this. And I actually think that Prevent has been used illegally. And again, this is where this is where the right need good lawyers. Okay. And I said this the other day, we don't need any more little boys messing about on the right and infighting and bitching and backstabbing and all that sort of stuff. What we need on the right are serious people. We need lawyers. We need ex-soldiers. We need ex-police officers. We need genuine patriots. We need more Tommies. We need more Don Keiths. We need more Sargons of Akkad. We need more Ben Habibs. We need serious people. So if you're a serious person, stop hiding in the shadows, stand up and start taking your stand with us, because we need help on the right. And I genuinely think that Prevent has been used illegally. And I'll explain why. And I'm going to bring a document up on the screen here, guys. So just bear with me, because my my production skills are getting better all the time. They're getting better all the time, but they're still not as they should be. But let's have a look, see if I can get this in there. Okay, here we go. Okay, great. So there we go. So Now, this is really really interesting. I'm going to try and get that as big as I can. Let's have a look. Just let me know if you can see that. Let me know in the comments if you guys can read that. Let's have a look. Praying for Tommy every time. Yeah, we should be. Okay. Extremism and terrorism. So let me go through this document. Let me go through this document. Extremism and this is straight from Prevent. This is straight from Prevent. Okay. Extremism and terrorism are sometimes used interchangeably. Both pose a threat to people, but they have very distinct definitions. What is extremism? Extremism is the vocal or active opposition to fundamental British values, including democracy, the rule of law, individual liberty, and mutual respect and tolerance of different faiths and beliefs. I'm sorry, but that definition of extremism is completely flawed. And you can see the sticky fingers, the poisonous, the poison-filled, poison-dripping, sticky fingers of Islamists in this document. Yeah, we get the democracy, rule of law, individual liberty, mutual respect, possibly. Tolerance of different faiths and beliefs. I'm not tolerant of Satanists. I'm not tolerant of people that would want to carry out child or human sacrifice. And people could say they were coming at that from a religious point of view. I'm not tolerant of Islamists and jihadists. I'm really not. But they're doing what they're doing out of their religious beliefs and their faith. Anyway, let me carry on. What turns any type of extremism into terrorism is the belief in using violence to further your cause. Okay, that's fair enough, I think. What is terrorism? Terrorism is an action or threat designed to influence the government or intimidate the public. Its purpose is to advance a political, religious, or ideological cause. Yeah. Threat designed to influence the government. I thought terrorism was the action, was the violence, more than the threat. Anyway, now we're going to go into the really meaty bit in a minute. It's important to remember that not all extremist groups, whether Islamist, extreme right-wing, or other, will commit terrorist or violent acts. However, some groups pose particular threats both online and offline. And this is where this gets really sinister. This is where this gets really sinister. Now think about this. Look at the order, guys. Just look at this is straight from the Prevent website. Okay. I went onto the Prevent website and I did the Prevent course anonymously, and I'm probably blocked now. They'll probably never let me do it again. But I did the Prevent course to see what it was all about, and I did a video on it with David Vance a few weeks ago. You can find that in the archive. So I'm not going to go over old ground. But this is where I think that the British government, and I don't know whether this definition was put into place by the Conservative Party. If it was, it says everything you need to know about that sinking ship that is the Tory Party. The Labour government's going to get destroyed at the next election, without a shadow of a doubt, right? We need to make sure the Conservative Party gets destroyed as well. Because the more I think about the Conservative Party, the more I look back in anger, you know, all this, don't look back in anger. I'm looking back in absolute rage at what's happened to our country in the past since the Blair Witch Project. In fact, since John Major. Anyway, but so let's have a look at this. Terrorist ideologies, okay? Terrorist ideologies, extreme right wing, okay? Listen to what they say. We define extreme right wing terrorism as the active or vocal support of ideologies that advocate discrimination or violence against minority groups. The three most common subcategories of extreme right-wing terrorist ideologies and their narratives are, what's at the top? What's at the very top of this? Cultural nationalism. That's the Unite the Kingdom movement. That is civic nationalists. This should not even be in there. This should not. And what this does, this allows the state to set the police on us, set special branch on us, set MI5 on us, to surveil us, to watch us, because what they're trying to say is that cultural nationalism is a subversive ideology. I would put it to anybody that I would say 80% of British people of all races and backgrounds are cultural nationalists. listen to what it says. This is their definition of cultural nationalism. Western culture is under threat. Yeah, it is. From mass immigration. Yes, from mass immigration. And lack of integration. Yes, from lack of integration by certain ethnic and cultural groups. Yes, by, let's just be honest, by the Pakistani and Bangladeshi diaspora and the Islamists within those groups. That's what they're talking about. And I would say that's a fact. So actually stating facts about the threats that there are to Western culture, that no cultural nationalists or civic nationalists that I know are racists. Not a single one. I don't care if you're Pakistani, Bangladeshi, Indian, Nigerian, West Indian, American, Chinese, Filipino. I don't care. I don't care about the color of your skin. I don't even care where you came from. What I care about is whether you love the country, which is actually exactly where the government should be. But no, the government have lumped cultural nationalists, in other words, unite the kingdom in with extreme right-wing ideology. This needs to be looked at. We need to start writing to our MPs. We need to start going at people over this. Let me know in the comments what you think about this, because this is serious, guys. This is really serious. Then it goes on: white ethno-nationalism, mass immigration from non-white world, and demographic change pose an existential threat to the white race and Western culture. The reality is, and I am not, as anyone that knows me, I am not an ethno-nationalist. I have no time for ethno-nationalism, but you can see what they're saying, because that is the perception of what's going on in the country. And obviously, to me, ethno-nationalism can lead to a very, very dark place, because I don't want to separate people on the grounds of their skin color. However, if there is discrimination against white people, if there's discrimination against what we are, which is basically, we are the indigenous people of the British Isles. And don't give me all this bull. Oh, well, there's been immigration. You came across with the Anglo-Saxons. Yeah, we came here 1,500 years ago if we were Anglo-Saxons. A lot of us can probably trace our heritage back even further than that. Yes, some of us are Norman. Some of us have got a bit of Viking blood in us. We know all that. We're well aware of our genetic makeup, but we are the indigenous people of the United Kingdom. Now, I don't say that to race bait. I don't say that we're any better or any worse than anybody else. But this is our homeland. It's the only one we've got. If you've got Pakistani dual nationality, you can go back to Pakistan anytime you want. I can't go and live in America if things come on top. If there's a civil war in this country, no, I've got to stand here and I've got to fight. And not just that. And this is the truth. My ancestors' blood is in the ground in England. My wife's ancestors' blood is in the ground in Ulster. So we are wedded by blood and by our ancestry to the British Isles. Okay, and I'm not one of these, swivel-eyed nutcases that wants the UK to be 99% white or whatever, right? Not at all. But what I'm saying is we cannot have a situation, which is what is happening now, where we've got race baiters, and you know who they are. Whatever that skinny, skanky girl that's always claiming that she's the best Indian on the planet, and yet she's British and she doesn't really know what she is. But we all know who I'm talking about. And that other one, that Pakistani woman, that vile racist Pakistani woman, those people race baiting are causing a real problem for their own communities, because what they're doing is they're turning people against each other. We don't do that. I don't insult people because they're Pakistani. I don't insult people because of the color of the skin, but they do. They attack us. And not just that, the state attacks us, the media attacks us. And what Sarah Pochin said, was Sarah Pochin, isn't it? What Sarah Pochin said about the adverts being disproportionately multicultural was absolutely right. She was absolutely right. So anyway, white supremacists, yeah, white supremacists, they're all nutcases. We don't have anything to do with white supremacy, never have. It's disgusting. The goose-stepping Nazis, they hate the Jews, they hate anyone that's black, they hate anyone that's not the same as them. We hate them as much as they hate us. The white supremacists despise us and we despise them, okay? But to lump cultural nationalism in with white supremacism is absolutely disgusting. and it completely undermines what Prevent is meant to be doing. It's meant to be about de-radicalization. What our movement will do will bring people together on the center ground and de-radicalize people. If you look at the pledge, and again, I press anyone to go back to the pledge and read the text of the pledge. I'm going to start trying to do more with that in the next few months as I get some, if I ever get any time to do more with anything. But this is the whole point, to put cultural nationalism into the Prevent strategy under terrorist ideologies. So you're now a terrorist. You're now supporting terrorist ideologies if you think Western culture is under threat from mass immigration. 70% of the people in the UK think that. And finally, Islamist. Now listen to this, right? So when it talks about the ideologies on the extreme right, it's not talking about terrorist ideologies. But when it comes to Islamism, all it's talking about, okay, all it's talking about when it comes to Islamism is Islamist terrorist ideology. Islamist terrorist ideology is inspired by politically and religiously motivated groups, people who support the use of violence to establish their version of an Islamic society. Islamist terrorist ideology includes the uncompromising belief that people cannot be both Muslim and British, and that Muslims living in the UK should not participate in democracy. Now, this is why this is so sinister, guys, okay? This is why this is so sinister. So when it comes to the extreme right wing, which has managed to lump in cultural nationalism, which is 70% of the British population, Prevent this classing as extremist, is it any wonder that the vast majority of people, and do you know who's going on Prevent? Kids between 11 and 15. I think that was right. Or was it 15, 18? Anyway, check it out when you get a chance. Young kids are going on Prevent. And what they're doing is they're trying to politically influence the next generation away from having patriotic ideals of Britain. Okay, that's what they're trying to do. When it comes to Islamist ideology, the only stuff they're interested in is the jihadi stuff, the violent stuff. They're not interested in Islamism. And Islamism is a massive threat. We've got 5 MPs in Parliament who hate the UK. They are Islamists and they are jihad, Hamas loving scumbags, right? That's just a fact. That's just a fact. Okay. And there's nothing being said about that. Nobody in Prevent is worried about Islamists destabilizing democracy and destabilizing the UK by pushing for blasphemy laws, by pushing for Sharia. That's what they want. That's what the Islamists want. They want to take over the country and have Britain, the UK, as part of the caliphate, Muslim Brotherhood, all these other Islamist organizations. And again, I'm not going to name them because what I don't want to do is put my neck in a noose and get sued by these scumbags, because they will. They'll just sue you and destroy your life. So that's what we're looking at. We've got a situation where the political right has been persecuted by Prevent, whereas Islamist politicians get a completely free reign. And that's why you have people like Ahmed Yaqub on, what was he on? GB News was he on? And he was on the other one, Talk TV. What are Talk TV doing putting men like him on that channel when they won't give Ben Habib a hearing on that channel? Guys, it's ridiculous. It's crazy. Let's have a look at some of the comments, because I've had a bit of a rant this morning. Yeah, Ben Habib's a great guy. Ben Habib's brilliant. Religion of Peace converted natives to do shopping centre. Religion of Peace. Yeah. Aren't we allowed to disagree with any other ideology? Obviously not, Cara. I mean, this is the problem, guys. We've got to realize we are not playing on a level playing field here. They are not playing by Marquis of Queensberry rules. We're all going there. There's no punches below the belt. There's no gouging. There's no biting. There's no headbutting. And they're just coming in, no rules, street fighting. And this is a very, very, very dangerous situation that we're in. And to me, something needs to be done about it. And like I say, we need clever people. Well, we need people like the Black Belt Barrister. It's all right. I mean, I love the Black Belt Barrister. I think he's great. And the other guy with the long hair, great guys. Come on, step up then and help us with these what probably need to be legal challenges. Help patriots when they get arrested at airports and held. We need lawyers who will work pro bono on our side. The left have got them. We need them. We need barristers and lawyers that will stand for the British working class. Okay? It's just what it is. Right. So I'm now gonna have a look at a couple of other things. Oh yes, here we go. So here's a little one that might be interesting. Let's have a look. Have this. Okay. UK records biggest increase in asylum claims in Europe. I'm sure we're all absolutely shocked by that. And look, there's a boat full of engineers, scientists. There's probably Mother Teresa's in there as well. All children, of course, all under the age of 10, not fighting age men. I mean, that just looks like, that's kind of like a cheap version of a beach landing by the Royal Marines. I mean, what's going on there? Obviously those guys aren't Royal Marines. No, they're not, because these are the guys that come in and stab people that are going to be Royal Marines. A total of 108,000 claims were lodged in 2024. Now, here's the problem that we've got with the asylum system. People are being given British passports that shouldn't get them. And thankfully, Ben Habib has said that people who've been given right to remain that shouldn't be here will be removed. They will have their right to remain revoked. But this is a massive job unpicking the mess that the Tories and the Labour government have got us into. And we thought the Tories were bad. They were. They're horrendous. They should never get their hands on the organs of power ever again. They should be consigned to the scrap heap of history. And people like Boris, Theresa May, David Cameron, George Osborne, the whole stinking liberal elite should find themselves behind bars, in my opinion, for treason. Okay. Anyway, so 108,000 claims. Something like 76% of claims are accepted in the UK. That needs to be examined. We need to find out exactly what's going on. Last year's tally was also the highest number of applications on record for the UK, according to the Organisation for Economic Cooperation and Development, eclipsing 103,000 claims lodged in 2002. The latest figures will raise fresh concerns over the Channel migrant crisis and the government's ability to crack down on small boats. So Keir Starmer in September admitted Labour had failed to recognise problems over the number of people seeking access to the country, acknowledged that the party did shy away from people's concerns around illegal immigration, and they're still shying away from it. They're still not doing anything about it. It's been too easy for people to enter the country, work in the shadow economy, and remain illegally, the Prime Minister wrote in the Telegraph. What a racist comment! Shame on you, Keir Starmer. You're a right wing. You're a far right. In fact, actually, I think in view of what he said there, it's obvious that that Keir Starmer has an extreme right wing ideology, and we should report Keir Starmer to prevent. 100%. He's a total wrong, and he's a right-wing extremist. He's got to be reported to prevent. So anyway, the story goes on. You get the picture. Basically, we are the soft touch, not just of Europe, but of the world. We're the soft touch of the world. And that's the problem that we've got. Everybody knows that we are Treasure Island. If you get here, you're going to be looked after. You're going to get all the rights. You're going to get new teeth. It's like, you know the way people go for turkey teeth. Well, people come to England for England teeth because they're going to get free dentistry. They're going to get free NHS care, the whole lot. And guys, it has just got to stop. The NHS is the epicenter of the silent genocide in this country. I take it, Merlin, you're talking about abortion. If you are, I absolutely agree with that 100%. And again, that is not a judgment on women that have had abortions. Again, it's a dreadful thing, and vulnerable women have been pushed into having abortions that shouldn't have them. But a lot of them are having abortions for convenience. I'm sorry, and that's it's just wrong. It's wrong, guys. And again, I'm well aware of the sensitivities around that, and obviously, if women are in very, very bad situations and maybe rape or abuse of some kind, I get it. I understand all that. But here's the thing. You can put a baby up for adoption. All you got to do is carry the baby 9 months, give birth to it, and then give it to someone who will look after it. And there's loads of families in the UK, good families that would adopt babies that mothers can't cope with for whatever reason. And again, like I say, I have a personal interest in this. I feel passionately about abortion because if I'd have been born after 1968, would I have made out the womb? So I agree with that 100%. And that's, do you know what? There's just so much to look at, guys, isn't there? There's so much to look at. And I want to have a very quick look at actually, I'll tell you what I want to do. I want to play a video. I have a friend called Jeff, and Jeff's done security on the marches with us, crowd security. He's a good lad. He's half Jamaican, and he got in touch with me last week, and I apologize to you, Jeff. I should have done this before now, but I'm going to play a little video about what's happening in Jamaica. And yes, we always focus on the UK. I'm going to try and focus more on some international stuff as well, because most people in Jamaica, or a lot of people in Jamaica, would be Christians. Very, very big Christian community in Jamaica. So they're our brothers and sisters. And they are suffering horrendously after the hurricane. My son is out in the Philippines. He's married a girl from the Philippines, got family out there. And he's just been evacuated in the Philippines because there's a massive typhoon about to hit the Philippines. And no, I don't think it's anything to do with global warming. I just think it's weather, okay? There's been hurricanes and storms as long as I've been alive, and right the way back to Noah. And no, I wasn't alive when Noah was alive, but there's a lot been going on. Too many people cannot see the threat from Islam. Sudan is about to be taken over by a Muslim warlord who's busy wiping out Christianity. Do you know, I'm not sure that that's strictly true, and I'm not contradicting you because I need to get more information on it. As far from what I can read, the Janjaweed, who are the militia that are doing the massacres, are basically backed by the UAE, and they've been attacking black Muslim people. It's a racial thing. Arabs attacking Africans in Sudan at the minute. That's what I can gather. Now, the Sudanese Liberation Army, or the Sudanese Army, SAL or whatever they call it, SAF, I think it is, Sudanese Armed Forces, they are Islamists, 100%. And they're backed by Turkey, Iran, and funnily enough, Russia. So, and they're one of the reasons that Iran and Turkey are backing them is because that part of Sudan has been a weapons running route to get weapons into the Gaza Strip for Hamas. But I think what happened when there was the civil war in the 90s, and I think 1 million Christians were killed by Islamists in the 90s and early 2000s, and then I'm not sure when it was, but South Sudan got independence, and South Sudan is a 60% Christian country that has a secular state and constitution. South Sudan, as far as I know, is not involved in this conflict. But again, if I'm wrong on that, let me know, Christine, because you may know more than me. So I'm not contradicting you. It's just not my understanding of it. But there's been some horrendous atrocities going on, and what's happening in Nigeria against the Christians certainly is a genocide. So, and if I'm wrong on that, please put it in the comments, Christine. Let me know what information you've got on that, because I'll certainly, self-correct if I've got that one wrong. Yes, let's have a look at this video of Jamaica, guys, because I think we've got to realize that we live in a lot bigger world than just the UK, and obviously what happens around the globe definitely affects us, as we've seen by people coming across on the boats. Let me just thanks, Sheila, appreciate that. Okay.
Very terrible, 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 terrible sight. Every boat structure gone, everything. even the concrete shops.
So that would be total. In terms of what?
And we need every help we can get. So we need food, water, toiletries. You have a lot of persons who are displaced and not able to even sleep or have anything. So, I mean, this crisis is more than what we can bear. It's the first in Jamaica we have ever experienced something like this.
Overseas who can help these people, because these people are homeless, they don't have clothing, they don't have food, they don't have water, they need help, they need help, they need help.
German engineers created a way that lets you hear whispers.
Sorry, that's what's happening in Jamaica. And again, I think if look, we're all stretched, every single person's stretched, but when I see that, that's a country that looks like it's a war zone, you know. And you imagine it. I'd love to see a before and after picture. Those little communities completely destroyed and wiped out. And exactly, I mean, Thomas Price saying hurricanes don't worry about people they don't, and they don't discriminate. They don't care whether you're a Protestant, Catholic, Muslim, or Jew. When they hit, they're going to take things out. Like say, my son's, you know, he's evacuated at the minute. He's taken, had to leave his house, take his son and his wife, and go up into the hills or into high ground. So, you know, these things are real. And like I say, I don't think it's anything to do with global warming. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think it is. Hi, Mickey. Sorry, where are you? Just hi, Mickey. How are you, mate? A bit slow. So am I, but I'm getting faster. I'm getting quicker. I tell you what, this one is really flown him. Yeah, Matthew 24, absolutely. Well, if they stayed in the Commonwealth, aid would have flowed quicker. Well, no, you're right on that. You're right on that 100%. I agree with that 100%. And again, this is the problem, isn't it? This is the problem. But again, if we can give anything to any of the reputable Christian groups that are working out there, if I give to a charity, I always make sure I vet the charity before I give it. There's no way I'd ever give anything to one of these UN things or UNESCO or any of these things, because why would you give to the globalists? But there are Christian charities that are really good. Tear Fund used to be good. The Barnabas Fund is very good. I'm not sure which ones are going to be working out in Jamaica, but if you can find a good Christian charity, probably, I wonder, is Operation Mobilization. They used to have ships out there that used to go around the various different trouble spots. But yeah, if you can support anything, and obviously pray for the people of Jamaica, and because I have loads of friends that are from Jamaican descent, and they're good people. They're really good people. They're my friends. So yes, mercy ships. There you go, Mary. Mercy ships. If you can give to that cause, please find a way of giving to those people in Jamaica. I know there's so many tragedies all over the world, but again, it was a friend of mine came to me, said, "Look, these are my family. These are my cousins. These are my uncles, aunts," and he asked me to do something about Jamaica. So that's for Jeff. Again, he's a good lad, and he's helped us. He's 100% on board with what we do, and yeah. Right, what's next? Let's have a quick look. Oh, right. Okay, here we go. Now, this came out yesterday. This news broke yesterday, and what I'll do, I'll just read it. I'll not put it on the screen. I'll just read it. Major Uxbridge knife murder update as Afghan refugee. Why are they calling him a refugee? That's the Daily Express. Why, Daily Express, are you calling him a refugee? He's not a refugee. He's an asylum seeker. He's not a refugee. Start using the right terminology. He's not even an asylum seeker. He came in here illegally. An Afghan, I'm not going to even say it. I'm going to say an Afghan illegal accused of running amok with a large knife, fatally stabbing a dog walker 14 times and injuring 2 more people, is facing trial next summer. Isn't that interesting that the justice system moves so slowly for attempted mass murderers, but very, very quickly for someone that puts a tweet on social media? Saif Dawood, 22, is charged with murdering Wayne Broadhurst and the attempted murder of his landlord and a boy aged 14 in Uxbridge, West London, on October the 27th. An Old Bailey hearing on Monday. At an Old Bailey hearing on Monday, Dawood, who shouldn't even be in this country, he shouldn't be here. He should have been deported ages ago. An Old Bailey hearing on Monday, Dawood confirmed his identity by video link from Wandsworth Prison before Judge Mark Lucreth KC set a timetable for the case. A plea hearing was set for January the 12th and a provisional trial up to 3 weeks from July 20th next year. Now, again, this guy is, well, okay, I can't say it kind of because of contempt, but isn't it about time murderers started just pleading guilty when you've been caught with the blood-soaked sword? I was going to say the blood-soaked knife in your hand. So he had allegedly been due to leave his accommodation in Uxbridge in 3 days when he launched a knife attack on October the 27th. That day, his landlord, Shahzad Farouk, 45, had gone to the annex where he was living and allegedly found him armed with a large knife. Now, this is obviously in an HMO, okay? This is obviously, he's in an HMO. Mr. Farouk ran out of the house to seek assistance from neighbours in Midhurst Gardens. One of the neighbours somehow swung her walking stick at Dawood, which caused him to back off. Now, I would imagine if somebody's got a walking stick and it's a lady, right? She's probably at least in her late 50s or early 60s or maybe 70s, right? So this was a really brave guy. He runs away from someone swinging a walking stick, but obviously this annoyed him. The defendant allegedly also injured a 14-year-old boy before setting upon Mr. Broadhurst, who was a stranger to him. No connection with him, didn't know him. Outlined the allegations. Prosecutor Deanna Heer, KC, said the victim of the murder, Wayne Broadhurst, happened to walk past. He was walking his dog when the defendant saw him. He attacked him with the knife, causing Mr. Broadhurst to fall to the ground, where he was repeatedly stabbed. Miss Heer said Mr. Broadhurst was stabbed 14 times and died at the scenes despite the efforts of medics. 14 times this savage stabbed him. And this is why I keep saying it. And I think everybody's come to the same conclusion. We need to think about self-defense. Again, I've said it before, I'll say it again. If you're not confident with that, with self-defense stuff, if you have time, if you're carrying a day sack or whatever, try and get a day sack between, if it's got anything in it, try and get a little day sack, these little things that go over your shoulder. Get that between you and the knife attacker. If you've got an umbrella, if you've got a stick, you've got any way of keeping the person away from you. If you, are a martial artist and you're confident enough to defend yourself, if somebody's attacking you, then try and defend yourself. And of course, when it's a knife attack, it's a lottery, because once someone starts swinging metal about, if it hits you in the wrong place, you're dead in seconds. It hits an artery in your neck, your thigh, in your stomach, you're gone. And that's all there is to it. But surely it's better for us to have plans of what we can do. And I've said this before, the UDR man that survived multiple IRA attacks survived them because he thought through what he was going to do if he was ever attacked. Oh dear. Mr. Broadhurst was stabbed 14 times and died at the scene. He had suffered multiple stab wounds, including to his neck, chest, and side. And that's it, And this is why we need to get these people out of our country. And I'm amazed by the way such a big deal was made about this guy that did this thing on the train. This 30-year-old British man. Okay. So much is made of the fact that he was born in Britain. So what? There's something culturally not right about whatever way he's been brought up. Where's he from? I mean, I don't think he was West Indian. They said the other guy, I think, was West Indian that was released. Where's this 32-year-old guy's parents from? What's their background? What have they been through? What have they taught their children? We don't know. What drugs has that man been taking? We don't know. Is he radicalized? Was he an Islamist? We just don't know any of the answers to those questions. And I'm sure the police know already, like they did with Axel Ridabakana when they knew that he had an Al-Qaeda manual and rice under his bed. Anyway, so this guy's charged with murder, 2 counts of attempted murder, and also 1 count of possessing an offensive weapon. The man should never, ever get out of prison. In fact, he should be released from prison only to go back to Afghanistan to face justice back in Afghanistan. Would they punish him for stabbing an Englishman? Probably not. Probably not. So there we go. Gonna have a quick look through Twitter. Just scroll through. We'll try and do this every morning. Just have a little scroll through Twitter just to see what's going on Twitter. So let me just set this up here. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to make that full screen so that you can all see it properly. So what's going on Twitter? Okay, now this is
people right.
Dharma,
I think the day after the UTK rally, got on the airwaves and was talking about the far right. And the 25 arrests that were made that day, they wanted to put at the door of people who were protesting alongside us. But actually, out of the 25, as I understand it, 17 arrests were from the anti-UTK protesters, who were many fewer in number, just up the road on the other side, near Trafalgar Square. The violence wasn't coming from us. And again, I know you were there, so you will confirm this. We had a carnival atmosphere.
Oh, it was a family atmosphere, and people can judge for themselves. I'm not coming from any particular angle other than the angle of the truth. And what I saw was a family-friendly event. I spoke to lots of people about it, and you can compare the statistics yourself. You can have a look, see what the Metropolitan Police figures about the number of arrests. Compare that with something like the Notting Hill Carnival, for example, and how that is portrayed in the press as wonderfully sort of positive. And the mayor will say, the mayor of London, what a wonderful family-friendly atmosphere that was. Compare the number of arrests there with what happened on Unite the Kingdom.
Absolutely. And so what I say to those pearl-clutching, far-left, anti-democratic, globalist, ECHR supporting lot is that if you can't understand that there is a democratic move for a sovereign United Kingdom, you will continue to perpetrate the divisions and discord in our society that we're experiencing. What the political class and the broader commentariat need to pick up on, and I was very pleased to see Trevor Phillips picked up on it, is that this is a peaceful movement by the British people asking the political class, please do what we want. Dharma, I think the day after.
So, I mean, I think what Ben's saying there is really, really important. And it's only Ben that's saying that. I mean, do you know what? I know it seems like a massive long shot, okay? It seems like it's almost impossible for Advance to win the next general election. But it's not impossible, and I'll tell you why. Look at where Reform were before the last election. 30,000 members, 15, 16% in the polls. We've still got 3 years to go. This government, unfortunately, is going to be in power until 2029. So we've got 3 years to go to sort this nonsense out. Maybe slightly less, but I still think we should absolutely start pushing Advance massively. And I think Ben would make a brilliant prime minister. And I think with the people around him, I know the people around Ben, and I think he will do what needs to be done. Right, I want to go on to the Men of England here very quickly, okay? So there we go. Just so you can all see it. If you haven't done it, if you haven't downloaded the Men of England, shame on you. I'll put the link. I'm going to put the link in the description. It was at it was at number 3 in the breaking. The charts are very different now. To put the words, you need a degree in musicology to understand the charts now. But the record when it first came out got to number 3 in the breaking music on Amazon. I think it ended up overall at 33 last week. Now, obviously, this week is Remembrance Sunday. I want to try and get it pushed out by. See if Tommy's lot will push it out for me. See if I can get some of the other influencers to push it out. So I'm going to try and get that done, but I'm probably not going to get it done in time for this weekend. But if we can get that to number 1 in the next few weeks, I think that would be a great achievement for our movement, because that was really the unofficial anthem of the last march. That was, Tommy kept sharing it all the time. Loads of people were ripping it off and putting it on their on the channels. So if we can do that. If we can get that to number 1 at some point, I think that'd be great. So if you haven't downloaded it, what I want you to really do is go to iTunes Store and download it, and go to Amazon Music and download it, because it's the downloads that basically get you higher up in the charts, because you need literally gazillions of streams to have the same effect in the charts as a download. So if you can do that, that'd be awesome. 20, there we go, 29 the download charts. We're climbing. Keep at it, guys, keep at it. So let's have a look. I want to go back through Twitter. So let me get back to Twitter, or X, or whatever we call it now. Oh yeah, this one. Wow, wait till you see this one, guys. This is gonna really annoy everybody. That little video, do you see that, guys? Do you see that little video? In the basement of a mosque, people doing MMA. Now, again, it's not illegal. There's nothing wrong with that. But here's the thing. Here's the thing about that. We should be doing it. And I said this on Paul Thorpe's channel the other day, and Paul disagreed with me. Said, "Oh, but most of our people are too old." No, if you're under 60, you should be getting yourself physically fit to fight, because we don't know what's coming around the corner. We don't know when we're going to be in a situation where when we're in a mass confrontation in this country. People need to be ready to fight. And I'm not suggesting that we're going to be near a civil war or anything like that, but people need to know how to defend themselves. They need to know how to throw a punch. They need to know how to get someone on the ground. They need to know how to restrain someone. They need to know how to do basic knife defenses. Sorry, it's as simple as that. An army of Islamists training, absolutely. And where's Prevent looking at them? Why isn't Prevent having a chat with that mosque that's got a fight club below the mosque? Now, my opinion of a lot of Islamists, that they're not very good at fighting. They talk a good fight, but the reality is the British are good at fighting, but you're not good at fighting if you're not trained. And what I would suggest is people get to the boxing club, get to the MMA club, get to karate, get to Muay Thai, get to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, whatever your preference. I'm very, very blessed to have a friend of mine who is capable of teaching multiple martial arts. He's probably one of the best martial artists I know. He's fought in the world champions at championships taekwondo and karate. He's done kung fu, boxing, the whole lot. And for 4 hours a week, I go and train with him. And because he's a mate, he doesn't charge me any money, which is good. But he gets, he enjoys it as well. There's a reason why he can't train. He can't train in clubs anymore. He's got a personal reason for that, which I'm not going to go into. If I'll do a video with him at some point. And we'll go into that in a lot of detail. But yeah, we need to start doing self-defense, guys. We need to start doing self-defense. And yes, they are getting ready. And the problem is we ain't ready. And that's what I keep saying. We need serious men in this movement who are making serious plans and who are doing serious work to protect our country. We need people who are spiritually serious, who are intellectually serious, who are politically serious, and who are physically serious. And I'm not talking about going and violently attacking people. I'm talking about defending ourselves. Defending ourselves. Yeah, they got 10 million to protect their mosques and probably build MMA gyms underneath them. That's probably part of where the 10 million goes. Britain needs to get fit. We do, and I need to be a lot fitter than I am. And I say I'm no spring chicken anymore. I'm 57. Am I 57? I think I'm 57. But I'm determined to keep myself as long as the Lord spares me and gives me strength in my body and health. I want to be like Caleb, who when he was 80 years old was just as strong as he was when he was 40. That's what I want to be like when I'm 80. And after that, I'm not really worried, but I want to keep myself fit and strong as long as I possibly can. And I think we all should. Yes, let's close on this. Let's pray for Tommy. And again, if you're not praying kind, that's okay. This is everything I'm going to do from here on in. It will be done through a Christian lens, right? Because the good thing about Christianity, it moderates us in so many different ways, right? So everything I do will be through a Christian lens. But if you're not a Christian, you won't agree with some of my opinions. I won't agree with yours, but let's respect each other and let's hear what each other's got to say, okay? But I'm going to pray for Tommy now, and I just ask everybody that's a Christian if you can pray for Tommy, and because he needs God's help. Father God, I pray for Tommy this morning as he goes to court, and we pray that case will be thrown out, that it'll just be thrown out and seen for the folly it is. And Lord, we just pray that whatever happens, Lord, that his spirits will stay high and he'll be positive. Keep him out of prison, Lord. Don't let them put him in prison again, and just protect him and give your angels charge over him, and let him feel the presence of your Holy Spirit again. He spoke about that when he was in Israel, and he spoke to me about it many, many years ago, about when he experienced that touch from the Holy Spirit in prison when the vicar told him he was going to be a sacrificial lamb. So Lord, just be with him and help him and bring him really close to you in Jesus' name. Amen. Okay, right, guys. I'm going to go because I know a lot of people have got to get to work, and I don't want to be getting people to lose their jobs. There's enough of lost jobs through doing this movement, so I don't want anybody else been in this situation that I found myself in. But yeah, pray for Tommy, guys, and I'll see you all soon. I'm probably going to go live tonight with Ricky. I'll confirm the time later on, but if it's not Ricky, it'll be me, myself, and I, but we'll find something to do. So I'm not sure whether it's going to be 7 or 8, but we'll work that out later. See you soon, guys.